You know what it is. I'm Parlay Hunter.
You know what it is. Life of D Green, man. We here back with another what?
This is a Bro Bets draft recap.
Brought to you by nobody. I just want to steal that real quick by Ernie Davis says that every night when he gets on TNT, but solely sponsored by nobody after 1989. Yes. But let's go. Let's go with it, man. What we got to talk, man? Big good draft, man. A lot of interesting things. What stands out to you off the top? You know, what stands
Man,
out?
we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about who we think won the draft and then steals, and then we're gonna talk about the quarterbacks. And to get right into it, I was thinking today, I was thinking about all these different teams, and I'm trying to think about who won the draft. And I think that something very sneaky happened in Seattle. And that's the team I'm going to go with because now, after I see how Seattle, so now that I see them getting Jackson Smith, arguably the best wide receiver in the draft, I see him now being set up in the perfect situation. You got DK on the other side. I think drafting Jackson was a home run because now you have DK who needed a little. I mean, they already have Lockett. I don't want to leave Lockett out, but Lockett's like, he's great. And then you got Jackson taking more pressure off of DK. And DK is he's a beast. He's a physical beast. So if he's getting one-on-ones, you know what I mean, he can pretty much just, go at it with the best of them. And then you got Jackson. I just feel like he's going to have so much opportunity. Speaking of opportunity, you got Geno Smith, the guy who took an opportunity he had last year. He took that spot from Drew Lock, and now he's going to be their quarterback, who's kind of very seasoned, I would say. I mean, he has the experience. He's kind of going on his year 2 of being probably a top 10 quarterback in the league, you could argue. I mean, maybe better. So I think that now this offense is set up real nice. And then in the second round, they draft Zach Charbonnet. Is it Charbonnet?
Charbonnet.
Sounds like
a glass of wine or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a very sneaky good pick as well because of how much they run the ball. Kenneth Walker looked very good last year. So if he's a top 10 or top 5 running back, maybe, and then you got Zach Charbonnet, getting that third down load. And I mean, that could be like a home run hitter. So I think Seattle got very good. They always draft good D linemen late. They got a D lineman late in the 4th. They got a D tackle. They got a safety in the 5th, I believe. I think Seattle had a very sneaky good draft. But most importantly, I think those two guys, Charbonnet and Jackson Smith, I wasn't even thinking Jackson Smith was going to come out of this draft being a big name in a few years. But now I really do. Now I think you got him set up in the perfect situation with a quarterback who's very hungry and other wide receivers who are very hungry in an offense that's hungry. I'm excited for Seattle, and I think they won the draft. All right, I'm going to let you talk. I'm sorry.
I mean, long-winded over there, but I mean, I like what Seattle did. Would I say they won the draft? Absolutely not. You know who I'm going to say won the draft. I really could. I can't go get it. It's on my TV stand. But I'll do this. I'll do this for bro bets. If I got any team in here, I can get it off my bed.
He's got something nearby.
The draft. This team right here, if you can see.
Yeah, we see. We know.
Yeah, they won the draft easily, hands down. You know what we did, man. Man, what can I say? Going to get Roderick Jones in the first round, doubling back, coming to get Keanu Bennett. I was unwise. I had to go back and watch film myself on Keanu Bennett. In the third round, matter of fact, going back, let me clear the air. Second round, going to get Joey Porter Jr. We already know what that means to us. family ties, legendary dad, Joey Porter came, Hall of Famer in my books, came solidified. And to get him at 32nd in the second round, when this guy was ranked high up to go even in the top 15, crazy steal right there. I'm not going to say that's the most biggest steal for me of the whole draft, but that's a big steal. Then we go get Keanu Bennett from Wisconsin in the third round, solidify our D-line. Him and Cam, he's going to learn a lot under Cam Hayward. This dude from Wisconsin, Keanu Bennett, is a dog. PFF had him like the number 1 ranked 3 technique or the nose tackle position. I didn't know how good he was at Wisconsin. He had over like 40-something tackles. That's a lot for a D tackle. I want to say he had close to 6.5 sacks too as well last year. So that's a lot for a D tackle. So then we go get Darnell Washington, the big O from Georgia, tight end, another offensive lineman basically to me who can be a threat in the passing game, help Kenny out. Bro, how do we not? Then we go get a corner from Purdue that was projected to go to 4th round, had the 4th round talent. We get him in the 7th round. Not to mention another guy from Wisconsin, Nick Herbie or whatever his name. There's claiming that he's going to be the next TJ. Absolutely. My team won the draft. We stole it. Coming in second place, I definitely would say to me, because when you think about stealing the draft, it's like who wins now? I think the Giants did a really good job overall. But for longevity, I really want to give respect to Houston. I love what D'Amico Ryans did with his first 2 picks, going to get his franchise quarterback and going to get his staple defensive player. That's huge for that organization. Now they have some pillars that they can really play off going into this year.
And in the 3rd, they got Tank Dell, and it's a
man. Now that's a steal.
It's reported that C.J. Stroud told them to go get him in the 3rd.
Yeah.
So, and
Tank Dell was high on my list for receivers. Like Tank Dell could be that guy that next year, they'd be surprised what he could put, the numbers he could put up with C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, I think we have to mention. Did you say that we have to mention Philly and we have to mention?
For sure. We gotta mention. We can't go unnoticed what Philly did. Like
Right.
Philly did some crazy things, man. Like
that's one of those. That's one of those things where that I really see that how that can help them actually go back to the Super Bowl. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a very to me, that's a very outlandish thing to say. But when you draft like that, like the way that they did, the way that they stacked their defense, that's something that is like that's a playoff type of thing that you need, where you have the make sure the second stringers can come in and perform late in close games. So that's what I see from Philly. So I thought that was very, very well done of them. And then I mean, Detroit was really all over the place, drafting really good players. Another sleeper for them is early in the 2nd, they got that Iowa tight end. And, to replace Hawkinson, from last year. So I think that they filled that hole, and then they got better in a lot of different places. They got rid of Swift and drafted a running back who's probably going to be a fantasy stud in Gibbs.
Yeah, no, I got question marks with Detroit. I want to continue to stay on the pace of who won the draft and talk a little bit about the Philadelphia Bulldogs for them to get Keely Ringo in the 4th round. Come back and get Nolan Smith late in the 1st, like that. Yeah, the Eagles have solidified themselves defensively, got their quarterback for the future for the next 5 years. Now it'll be interesting to see as their offensive line it gets a little bit older. I don't know how much Jason Kelsey will still be there, Lane Johnson, some of those guys. They might have to go get some more linemen coming up. But as of right now, the Eagles are definitely ready to get back to the Super Bowl in my eyes. Another still I wanted to say, and I will kind of go back to the Lions here. I do have question marks on some of their 1st round picks. I like Gibbs, and it wasn't a reach to me because if you like that guy, you go get him right there. And I think he was the 2nd best running back next to Bijan Robinson. But the steal for me for them is what they did in the 3rd round, going to get Hendon Hooker. And I think, and the reason why I want to speak on that is because I think Hendon Hooker upside is a little bit better than Will Levis. I think Hendon Hooker, honestly, you could say Bryce, CJ, Anthony, and then you can say Will Levis and Hendon Hooker right there. Both of them, 4A, 4B, whatever you want to say. And so for the Lions to go do that, and he's still, coming back off an ACL injury, I believe, and give him time. Goff still there playing at a high rate. Me and you debated this off air, but I still think that this was a good pick for the Lions because it puts Goff in a competition, but it's not the same competition as when he had to be showing up in LA as the number 1 draft pick in the bright lights in the big city in Los Angeles. And, and they want him to win now. Yeah, the Lions want him to win because the Lions are not sneaking up on nobody anymore. But at the same time, he's in a program where he's comfortable. He's in a dome. He's protected by the elements. He has a good trust with this offense and stuff. And so I think this is still his team for the next year, at least year, 2 years.
Yeah.
We've seen what played out with Jordan Love in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, and I can see the same thing here in Detroit with Hendon Hooker if Goff plays well.
Well, the thing is that Hendon Hooker and him are very close, similar in age already. And I don't think that, I agree with you about a few things. The reason why I don't like the pick is I feel like I wanted Hendon Hooker to go to a place where ultimately he was going. I mean, they drafted him in the third. Third is still very high. And, fourth is late. I get it. But I think third is still you can get very quality picks in the third round. So that quality pick that they used, to me, was on a backup quarterback. And, Goff is looking to get re-signed this year. So, I think that Hendon Hooker, I think he's got a chance at being a starting quarterback for a team like Minnesota or a team like the Raiders, or New Orleans, like somewhere where Carr maybe is. I don't think Carr's that far from he might be still pretty far from retiring, so maybe not there. But I just mean a place where he could really ultimately take the spot because Hendon Hooker has a lot of ability. He might, and really, I guess when I speak out loud about it, that probably means that the Lions saw that it was a steal. Because why would you, take a quarterback in the third unless he really has a good shot, at taking the job.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like it was a steal because they did that with and two, that's an early pick in the third round with the 68 pick. So for them to get him early in the third round, that's
says a lot.
It says a lot. And we're counting on the fact that we're going to build a competition within. You can come in, you don't got to play right away, continue to heal your leg.
It's interesting.
Well, yeah.
Because he's probably, let's say he sits out this year or he doesn't, he sits out for 6 months. Basically, it's a year. And then you do re-sign Goff to a 3-year deal. And then you have Hooker having 2 years of experience under his belt. Ultimately, when he takes the job, that could possibly happen.
This is what I think. I think Hooker sits out this year, maybe plays a little preseason if he's ready to go. Even if he does play this year, I don't think they're going to rush him back. They didn't rush Jameson Williams back from his ACL. I don't see that here. This is even a bigger position at quarterback. Yeah. This is who you're talking about being a franchise quarterback. So I think he sits out. Ultimately, the best thing he does, sits out this year, watches, soaks the game, how to be a quarterback in the league, the good and the bad. And that's the good thing about Goff, too. He can teach him the good and the bad, Like Goff didn't start well with the Rams. He had good moments, but his career with the Rams wasn't as good as it is with Detroit, where now he's mature. He's under the helm. He's had some experience of war wounds and battles and things like that. And so Hendon Hooker learning that from Goff is tremendously big because Goff, got to remember, Goff was a number 1 overall pick.
I just want to play devil's advocate here. This could possibly create turmoil inside of the quarterback room, and it could actually explode and ruin or that the Lions have going for them.
Or why can't it be what the 49ers had to deal with for a couple of years and still made the playoffs every year? Come on, we got to look at it like that because my thing is if you have that battle.
But if you have 2 quarterbacks.
That's what I'm saying. That battle is starting to be more prevalent in the league now. We're seeing that.
It is.
That builds for good It builds for good ratings for
But
us, and it builds for good competition on the field. Like,
hey man, it's in the football Bible, man. If you got two quarterbacks, you got zero. And I don't really like I don't like this. I mean, I know I like everything that the Lions were doing for the last 365 days up until that draft pick. Honestly, it just puts a knot in
now
my
you're just
stomach.
trying to, I see where you're going with this shit. You're trying to build some fucking ratings here.
Because
You know that this is good.
listen, I did not like Goff in LA. And then you're right. He comes to Detroit and he gets a chip on his
From
shoulder.
Skip Bayless to Dan Orlowski real quick.
Hey. He comes to Detroit. He gets a chip on his shoulder, but he's very cool and calm, collect about it. But he keeps his job as the quarterback, and he earns his starting job as the quarterback. He earned it because those receivers were balling. He earned it. That's what everyone's saying. But now Hooker is peeking out of the wall. Hooker's watching, and Hooker might come over and take that job, and he might be a better quarterback. And then you got to start. And then you start back over, and and then you're building. But they're young anyway. So I just think that it's kind of hard on Goff, and it kind of puts a little bit of momentum. Anyway, we got to stop talking about the Lions real quick. We only got 10 minutes left. Let's start talking more about draft steals, the quarterbacks. I love what the Colts did. I think that Richardson is perfect in Indy because, well, first of all, the guy can really kind of do it all. And if he can learn, the NFL system, and if he can learn the playbook, he's got a lot of weapons. At the receiver, he's got Pittman. Pittman is sculpting into a great NFL wide receiver. And then they have some depth there a little bit, but they have Jelani Woods, tight end, big guy. And Jonathan Taylor a year ago was the best running back in the league, and now he's like forgotten about. I don't think that's going to happen again this year. The O-line needs to get back. Quentin Nelson, who was the best guard in the NFL a couple years ago, I don't really know what happened to their O-line. They need to get back on track, but they might be able to do it now with Anthony Richardson. I thought he actually ended up in the best situation, my favorite quarterback draft pick in the draft. The other guys, good stuff, but I'm a big Anthony Richardson fan on the Colts now.
I mean, I'm just doing some research because that was a given. That was a system pick. I do think that the Colts trusted who they brought in as a coach, and that says something for ownership GM that, hey, we bought into the coach. Now we're going to buy into his system. He wants a running quarterback. I seen it. I didn't know if I trusted it because universally the Colts are a team that I would definitely say have played the race card. And honestly, think about it. Outside of Jacoby Brissett being a backup quarterback, when is the Colts last time they had a starting black quarterback? So I thought they might have rolled with how they culturally do all the time, but they didn't. They rolled with what the coach wanted. They got their guy. It's still going to be interesting to see because he's a project. He's not perfect. He's going to have some time. He's going to have to take some time. I see a lot of high and low moments, and I just hope that he has more high moments. I really am rooting for this guy because I want to see everybody do good in the league, especially black quarterbacks. I really push for them. But I think that he's going to definitely have some low moments. And I just hope those low moments don't tamper his real, quarterback ability. Like, I don't want him to be throwing some fucking Jay Cutler interceptions, just doing some just goofy shit that he can't try to be Patrick Mahomes because he's definitely not, but he just needs to rely on his legs, which is his strong suit. Trust their system. He's got good weapons. He's got
stay in the pocket, take the hits.
He's got a great running back there in Jonathan Taylor. If he can stay healthy this year, this dude was a fantasy steal 2 years ago. He didn't help me out last year for fantasy, but 2 years ago he was a great pickup. So he's got weapons there. Didn't they go get somebody? They go get Josh Downs, I believe, in the fourth round, I believe, or the third. Josh Downs in the third round, receiver from North Carolina, a really good pick. So he's got players there, Indy's gonna be hopefully, on the up and up. I like Jacksonville to take over that whole division. It's theirs now.
So out of these three guys, Richardson, Young, and Stroud, who do you think has the best? Let's say they're all starting week one. Who do you think has the best record overall? The
Part two.
Texans, the Panthers, or the Colts? And who do you think just performs?
Wait, say that again. Who has a better record out of who?
Yeah, like who leads? Who you know? What team has the best record? Which quarterbacks? What quarterback has the best rookie year?
Out of all the quarterbacks? Oh,
Out of
man,
Young,
it's a tough
Stroud,
one.
and Richardson, if they're all starting week one.
Stroud, Richardson, and Bryce Young.
Yeah, the three guys that were drafted in the top
Okay,
five,
the top
who's
five.
gonna be the best?
I gotta say Bryce Young. I think the Panthers have the chance to be the second best team in the NFC. Excuse me. I just think it'll be interesting to see what the NFC South looks like. I don't think the Bucs will be that great this year at all. I don't know about the Saints just because I don't know about Derek Carr. It's a hit or miss. Atlanta's going to be pretty good this year. They go get Bijan Robinson and stuff like that. I would have to say Bryce Young just because those other two they're in the same division and it's a way more uphill climb. Houston could be good just because DeMeco Ryan as a coach can motivate them guys to play good. So I could see
they had
CJ
a good
Stroud.
draft. They had a good draft, and they had a good draft last year. You know,
But
getting corner and
oh yeah, going against Stingley, keep Stingley healthy. But far as overall, I don't think Richardson's gonna be. Yeah, I think it's gonna be out of Stroud and Bryce Young. That's really a toss up right there, to be honest.
I think it's gonna be Richardson.
Statistically, I think it's gonna be CJ Stroud.
He's got weapons. You know, they drafted Xavier Hutchinson, Tank Dell.
I think CJ Stroud might be the offensive rookie of the year.
Mitchie's gonna be healthy.
Yeah.
John Mitchie, and then Pierce, and they had some good tight ends last year. Young, yeah, I mean, they got probably the best O-line and run game with Miles Sanders. But I'm going to stick with Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson, like you said, his highs are going to be real high and his lows will probably be very low. But if you're right, if he doesn't turn the ball over and he's not throwing the ball recklessly, which could happen, there's about a 20, 30, 40, maybe 30% chance that happens where he's
20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80.
I had to come up with the range in my head while I was thinking about it.
Man, Price is right here. What are we doing here?
Yeah, like I think there's a 30. Now I'm thinking there's like a 29% chance.
29, huh?
Yeah, I'm coming down a little bit more as we talk. So maybe like 27% chance. Maybe a 25% chance, which is a very big chance. That's 1/4. You know what I mean? When you cut a square into four.
We know you didn't go to college. You don't have to explain to the audience that you know fucking
25%. What that means is that if you have 4 and you take 1 out of that 4, that's 25%.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you were to, I would say there's a 25% chance.
Are you wearing wrestling wristbands right now? What do you got going?
Take my wrist. I got arthritis. You know, I'm an old man. I got arthritis, so I got to take my wrist.
You fucking look like fucking Rob Van Dam over there and shit. I don't know what's going on over here.
Yeah, Rob Van Dam. He's a goat. All right, so I think that Richardson has a 20. Now I think he's got about there's like a 15.
He just can't. It's constantly going up or down. What are we doing? Stock market? I thought you were off work already.
Yeah, he's got like
what's going on?
He's got about a 16% chance that it's gonna be throwing ducks. You know, real bad. I mean, but even Peyton Manning had a really a large number of interceptions his rookie year. So I'm not saying Anthony Richardson is Peyton Manning, but he might be the next, Peyton Manning. So anyway, Anthony Richardson, I think he's going to have the best year. His highs are going to be real high. Kind of reminds me of, another, running quarterback, Lamar Jackson. His rookie year was just, I'm just saying. He could, his highs are going to be real high. The team is set up for success. They have depth on offense. They got Darius Leonard on defense. Should be pretty good. But, hey, we only got a minute and a half left, so why don't you close us up?
I'm just saying, a lot of that was I mean, them 3 quarterbacks are going to be smooth. They got a lot of stuff that has to happen for them. That's the main thing. And all 3 of them have never played in the league, and we got to keep that in perspective. So, yeah, will Bryce Young and CJ Stroud be more ready than Anthony Richardson just because of arm talent, all of that? Yes. But at the same time, they never played in the league, and it ain't going to be a walk in the park for Houston. It depends on their schedule, all of that good stuff. Like, I don't know how well they'll do, but I'm intrigued to see. But my main thing is we got better. We got better over here, man. Everybody that keeps saying we're gonna be 4th in division. We haven't been for the last 10 years. We've never been. Mike Tomlin never has a losing season. We're fighting for 1 or 2 spot. Lamar got signed. We didn't even talk about the Ravens. They did some good work. Won't lie about that. The Ravens had an excellent draft week, period. Not even in the draft. Signing Lamar, getting Zay Flowers, Odell, everybody, they did a good job, but my Steelers won. Philadelphia Bulldogs, Arizona. Shout out to Nick for his first draft. Hey, it's been Bro Bets. Shout out. We out of here. Hey, man, see y'all next week. Whenever y'all see us, we going to get back to a normal schedule. Shout out to everybody. We respect, follow, subscribe, watch us. Everything, go to bromediagroup.com. Check us out on